All right, cultivators, this is Richie at Growful, Janae Simone, and Stephen of I Live Plants. And today's episode is going to be all about plant influencers, who's influenced us, and how they influence the plant community. So just wanted to go ahead and start that topic out and just say good morning, good evening, good day.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
So as you can see right here, we are trying to influence you guys already. We have some official merch, some Cultivation Corner sweaters, but no, real talk. What do you guys think about just social media, the plant community, plant influencers, content creators? Let's start with Steven. Do you want to talk about anybody that maybe has started the influencing for you?
Yeah.
What did that all look like?
Yeah, so funny enough, right? So I think it was about maybe a year and a half ago or so. Like I started to really get into the hobby of plants and everything.
Yeah.
So I went online because it's almost like, well, what plants are trending? I need care tips because I'm killing too many of my babies, that kind of thing. So I went on YouTube and just happened to put in, plant care, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first person who came up was this
Drum
woman-
roll.
This woman by the name of Amanda from Plantarina.
What?
yes.
Y'all remember Plantarina?
Yes. Who
Listen.
doesn't
Love.
know Plantarina?
Plantarina. She is my girl, first of all. Amanda is everything. If you guys never checked out her content, I don't even think you can check out the content anymore on YouTube.
Oh,
now.
really?
No,
Yeah. I
unfortunately.
think Plantarina kind of like dispersed or whatever, but when I tell you the representation that company had out of Amanda
Mhm.
was something that really got me excited about plants. She was just as quirky and as fun and as real as you would ever want to see, and it made you comfortable about diving into the hobby of plants.
Okay.
Right? She was very informative, knowledgeable about plants. Took us to the nursery down in Florida from time to time to see what the plants look like and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But her care tips were amazing, and she got me on the right track to discover another influencer by the name of Richie.
I'm a
Richie.
plant foldie.
You are
The one and only.
The one and only.
Richie from
Look,
Growfolds.
You were suggested as my next video.
Really?
Yeah, after I was watching Plantarina.
So YouTube was really kind in terms of that algorithm.
That's
Man,
right. It
if
knew
my
that I
videos are
needed
coming through
to
after
see-
Plantarina.
That's right. I knew I needed to see Growfolds. That was next in line.
Thank
But
you.
Y'all two were the first people.
Janae.
Yeah. And then Janae was next because I think
No.
I met
Really?
Richie first, right? And then, I think it's something about how, when you start saying things and it's like, your phone hears it and kind of...
They're always listening.
It's
y'all.
true.
They're
They're always listening. Turn off your microphones on your phone.
No, they're still doing something, even like the
Really?
keypad and all of that.
I don't like that.
It is interesting you bring that topic up though, like Stephen, about just how you get into the hobby of plants, and social media is very much an easy way to find information.
Yeah.
You get good information, you get not so good information,
Yeah.
you just get a plethora of information. It just shows that in general, the whole planet world or whatever is really interconnected, and that can be said about plants. I mean, the fact that you said you found me through Plantarina and then Janae, I remember when I was just doing some plant YouTube searching and stuff, she popped up.
Janae?
Oh.
She just popped up. So
Wow.
I guess just for today's topic, it's just talking about, plant influencing, content creators.
Mhm.
What does that look like for us individually? What does that look like for the cultivators, the viewers, and subscribers? And so, I'll ask Janae, we're going to jump from one topic to another. Obviously, we're going to talk about the plant influencers that influence us, but I did want to ask, because Janae has an established plant community as well. She has recently named her viewers the Simonians. Hi,
Simonians.
What got you into creating YouTube content for plants?
Oh, wow. I wasn't expecting this, y'all.
I know.
Okay.
We don't have the cues today, y'all.
Off the dome. My goodness. So when I first started, and I guess I got not even more comfortable, but as I was researching YouTube for plant care and everything, I just became more intrigued with it, and I was like, oh, I think I can do this. But that moment from when I was like, oh, I think I can do this, I didn't start my channel until like a year later
Wow.
because of basically myself. I let myself stop me from it because I was like, oh, you put yourself out online, people are rude, they can be bullies, and I was just thinking of that. I was like, what if, I don't know, how am I going to present myself, or blah blah blah. Anyways, I finally did it. I'm glad that I did, and I'm just myself. And I started doing it not because I was this confident plant person, but because I was like, hey, this is what I'm doing with my plants. I don't know if this is right, but this is what I'm going to try to do. And if y'all have any input, like, help me along the way. Like, if y'all were to go to my page and look at my other videos, I'm just like, this is my first time doing this. I don't know what I'm doing, but let's do it together. So I guess it's more so
Yeah.
because like there's so many different dynamics and factors with plants, and you really don't know what you're doing until you actually do it and try it. So I guess it's more just taking people along the journey with
Yeah.
me and just see like what we come up with and like how we care for our plants together.
I think that's a beautiful, thing in terms of just how we all share our journeys. I think even all three of us in our individual channels, we're very much transparent to the point where sometimes it's at a fault, right? Like we put yourself out there. And, as far as like plant influencing, I know all three of us, it's kind of crazy how folks have really kind of like looked at our content. And for me personally, it's kind of awkward to feel like a plant influencer. I mean, when you think about plant influencer, you're thinking about people that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, right? And then even on Instagram. But is it really the amount of viewers or subscribers? Because we recently had a guest, right, come on, and his name was
Mm-hmm.
Plant Poppy. Hi,
What's up?
Fidel.
What's up?
Hey.
Love you. And something really resonated with me, and it was a mention. I think he was celebrating the amount of subscribers he had gotten on
Mm-hmm.
his Instagram, but more so, there was a quote that he said, "It's not necessarily about the number of subscribers or followers you have; it's the number of people that you influence, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
one or two people who are truly engaging with your content, and it's not just a bunch of people following you just to follow you." And
Yeah.
I don't know, like I wanted to see in terms of like Steven,
Mm.
you mentioned like Plantarina, and then Janae, and then I'll also share. I wanted to see who your content creators are, whether it's plant related or not plant related, and like what do you like about them, how they inspired you, and how does that go, with your personal content that you put out there?
Well, I could say this. I think to your point, a lot of it is engagement. You
Okay.
know, for like I don't have that many subscribers right now. Like
It's
it
growing.
keeps
It's
growing,
growing.
which
That's
is
what
Yes.
matters.
it's such a beautiful thing to see that happen because it makes me feel like I'm doing something that
I'm sorry,
people.
but 2,000 subscribers is a
Is
lot of people. I
exactly.
read somewhere, I don't know if it was one of y'all, someone who said, just think about it, 2,000 people in one room with you,
Yeah.
Oh
just
wow,
watching you.
And
yeah,
even when you do live
2,000?
premieres, I mean,
yeah.
you're getting
That's,
double digit engagement. But yeah, let's
yeah.
let's make sure we're not selling ourselves short.
That's a
You,
lot of
It
people.
is.
I appreciate you guys for that. Seriously, I really, really do. And that's why for me, engaging with the people who engage with me is so crucial, right?
Hmm.
So when you look at plant influencers and even influencers in general, you look at that engagement piece, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
they're already putting themselves out there, but when you respond, right,
Mm-hmm.
to
Hmm.
to the type of work that they're doing, to the topics that they're talking about, and when you hear back from them,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, when I hear
Yeah.
back from the influencers that I follow, I'm like, oh my God, like the blossom effect, she
Yep.
saw my message. You know what I'm saying? So like I get
I love
excited,
that.
when someone responds to, whatever I say, right?
Yep.
And so I think for me, you know, plant influencers who just engage with their viewers, with their subscribers, I think it's really important because they took the time out to hear
Hmm.
what you had to say, and I get excited when people talk about things that happen at the end of my video. because it's like, damn,
Yeah.
y'all stuck around for like 15, 20 minutes, 30
Yeah.
minutes.
I love
Like,
that.
thank you. You know, like, thank you. Because, you know, listen, we have short attention spans sometimes, right?
I know I have my opinions about that too, and just the kind of content that comes around.
Yeah,
But
and it's almost like the songs nowadays that are like a minute and a half and 2 minutes
Yeah.
long. Like I used
Too
to,
short.
right? It's too
Yeah.
short. But again, is everybody wants to move on to the next thing. If I see someone who sticks around that long, I'm just like, you know, my heart is full. You know,
Yeah.
so I try to give other influencers the same sort of actions that I want people to give me.
Yeah.
You know.
And so you mentioned the Blossom Effect. So is that another
Oh my God!
influencer?
Listen,
Tell us more.
I love her. Okay,
Yeah.
because I think she's out of Atlanta.
Yes.
Another plant influence of color. You know,
Mhm.
she's beautiful, and she represents. I mean, she has so much fun. She comes out in the morning with her little, you know, lives or videos, and she's stirring either some tea or something like that, or
Yeah.
Love
you know, she's
that.
having some matcha or whatever, and
Love
she's just
matcha.
really herself.
Okay.
And I think, you know, in terms of influencing too, like be yourself,
Yep.
right? Like
Mhm.
we are all, you
Stay
know, we
true to
all got
yourself.
our things, and we all got some sort of special talent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she's just really, really engaging. And you know, like I follow when I first saw her, I was like, follow, 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 follow.
Oh my
Immediate.
goodness, you got
Immediate
immediate
follow.
today.
Immediately,
Today.
Today.
You know? So, but yeah, she's another one. But again, it's that how do they invite you in?
Yeah.
You know, and she really, you know, just her personality alone. So, like, if you ever come across this video, I'm a big fan.
Well, I would say personally for me, it was Harley G.
Woo!
Harley G.
Harley G.
Harley G.
She actually commented on one of our videos, and I was like fanboying,
I know.
fangirling, fan panda, whatever. Oh my gosh, Harley
Same.
G.
Exactly.
GG.
Exactly. So whenever I started in 2020, well, my friend, she bought me my first plant. It was a red maranta. And I literally Googled what I think I did the Google lens to figure out what plant it was. I didn't know what it was. I was like, oh, it's cute.
Did Google
And-
Lens know what it was?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Did it really legit?
And then
Wow.
I went from Google to YouTube, and then Harley's was the first video that came up. It was, I think, how to propagate a maranta.
No way.
And I went down the rabbit hole since then, and I've just been a faithful viewer. Not only that, because she's very just informative
Yeah.
and relatable too, and just like down to earth. I felt like I was watching a friend versus like just
Somebody who's doing just
exactly
influencing to be on social
Mhm.
media.
Yeah.
Does that make Yeah,
It
that does
does.
make sense.
Because I feel like I was watching my friend on my phone or on my TV if I was casting it there, like help teaching me about plants.
Yeah.
And literally ever since then, since 2020, I've just been a faithful fan and follower of Harley G. So she's, I would say, really the top plant influencer for me, who's helped me along my plant journey. And I've also sent like videos too, like I credit most everything I know to Harley G, because yeah, she's helped a lot.
Aw.
So yeah, love you if you're
Notifications-
watching this.
Notifications on. For
Okay,
Harley's.
on.
Yes, I mean,
All
I
the
have it
time.
all, you know, and that's another thing we wanted to put out there for those that are watching the Cultivation Corner, whether you're watching it on YouTube, listening to it on Spotify. Please make sure if you are subscribed, change it from subscribe to personal notifications to all notifications. It seems like YouTube
Yeah.
defaults that because it just depends on the content, but
Mhm.
you want to stay up to date with that. No, that's really interesting about Harley G. I feel like everybody has seen Harley G's content.
Yeah.
And I can agree with you when it comes down to just plant influencing. It's really the individual that really shares a lot of themselves.
Mhm.
But then, you know, that goes back to the topic of whenever you go on social media, you put yourself out there. You put yourself out there
Yeah.
for people to judge you. You have hundreds of thousands of followers or people that watch you that you've never met.
Yep.
You've never had a full-blown conversation in real life. They
Mhm.
may not necessarily know what you're doing day to day. They only see you through a lens. Do
Yeah.
you feel like there has to be I would say boundaries, because I mean, I'm pretty apparent about this right here. I get a lot of backlash for why is Richie wearing a mask? He looks really disturbing with the ski mask, X, Y, and Z on Cultivation Corner.
Mhm.
I've seen kind of that backlash, but I just feel like, um, do we subject, do influencers, content creators subject themselves to that type of judgment? Is that fair? Is that, I mean, what are your thoughts on that, y'all? Because we make content ourselves, so.
I think unfortunately, just us being in this position and putting ourselves out there, we do subject ourselves to that. However, it still doesn't make it right for people to act the way that they do and say the things that they say.
Yeah, it's one of those. I mean, I when I first started social media, I was in the fitness world, and I had since stopped that a few years ago just because of some of the hate that I was getting.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a certain aesthetic that you have to maintain, and it's a lot of pressure. So like they wanted, if you didn't have an 8 pack and you're posting fitness material on social media, you're considered out of shape. Okay,
Mm.
or oh, you need to work on your abs more, or that people will find something to sort of poke you about what's not perfect,
Yeah.
you know on your person. And so it could be very discouraging, right? So it's like, well, how much do I show? And I decided just to stop. And it is what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when I decided to do plant influencing, I said, you know what? I am going to place some boundaries
Yeah.
on the amount of information that I share about myself, but then also show my, you know, sometimes best and worst qualities, right? Because
Yeah.
number one, never really like the way I sound.
I
So
love it though. That's why you're on
See,
a podcast.
okay.
Well,
It's
listen,
iconic.
it's a lot of growth for me to be sitting here in this
Yeah.
chair talking in a mic for the potential of the entire world to see. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
But again, it's a
Same.
boundary that I had to, try to put to the side and say, hey, Steve, go out there and do it. But at the end of the day, like what I try to do is I try not to be perfect. Like I'm at an age now where it's like, love it or leave it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like me, if you don't like the content that I put out there, I don't have a gun to your head and forcing you to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that everybody has their own lane. You find a happy medium
Yeah.
of what you want to put out there,
Mm-hmm.
and you can repeat the content. I mean, like your plants are always growing.
Mm-hmm.
There's always something new that you're finding out about them. But in terms of personality, show what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and that just really resonates to me because I mean, y'all have hung out with me, have seen me in person in the flesh, and I'm very extroverted. It's just for me, you have to set some boundaries because, like you even mentioned, Janae, when you first started, you were worried about some of the backlash you could
Yeah.
potentially get. And I was reading comments, in the past from just other influencers, 'cause some of the bashing that they get. And it's more like, well, you're in a public forum, therefore you need to be out there with everything. And I don't think that that's the case. I think the reason why even social media these days can be either toxic or just very negative. It's kind of
Mhm.
like the news, where the news only just tells you the negative stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's because there is a sense of entitlement. And I know that I'm probably going to get some backlash too with some of the words I'm using, but I feel like I've even had people demanding, they're like, Richie, if you're not going to show your face, then you don't need to be on YouTube. You don't need to see my face. You can see my face if we ever see each other in person. But there are reasons why people create boundaries, whether it's professionally, whether it's personally, whether it's whatever it is that somebody is comfortable with. But I even look at just the content that's created. When YouTube started out, like 20 years ago,
Yeah.
it wasn't a thing for people to be all out there with themselves, lifestyle blogs, things of that nature. It wasn't a thing. But nowadays, in order for you to influence, it feels like it's more of the individual person versus maybe this beautiful Aglaonema cherry right here,
Mhm.
right? It's
Yeah.
like you're spending more face time with your face and not about the plants.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Or am I
That's
just
true.
crazy for really just thinking about that?
I think you're spot on.
Yeah, makes sense.
Human beings are visual creatures. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's just part of the nature, right? And so they look at things that attracts them with their eyes. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So that could either in ears and all the other senses, right? You smell a beautiful rose, you're attracted to the scent of a rose, right?
Yeah.
Cologne, perfume, that whole thing. So I think that is part of it is human nature,
Okay.
you know. But I think that the other part is, where that ends is humans being conscious,
Yes.
of everybody's, limits. And, I think once we, get to a place where I can respect your limits and it's okay for you to have those limits, then we'll be in a better place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look, I don't give a damn kind of like what you do
Mm-hmm.
as long as you're not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Richie, my thing is like go faceless
I love faceless, y'all.
because that's
Absence
you.
makes the heart grow fonder. If you didn't
Everybody's.
see
Yeah.
Let me
this,
tell you.
I'm pretty sure you still want to see it.
Let me tell
You
you
might.
something. That's why people want you to show your face because
Mhm.
you're keeping something away from them. And it's not everybody. So don't
Yeah.
I'm not gonna generally say people.
Mhm.
Some people,
Yeah.
because you're holding back and it's something that they want to know. But everybody doesn't need to know everything.
Yep.
Well,
Let's
and
be clear.
well, that's the thing too, and you got to think right. Filipino American here. Whenever, and I'm just gonna go segue a little bit. Beauty pageants are a thing, and there was this one contestant. Her name was Pia Wurtzbach, and before she won the Miss Universe title to the Philippines to represent the Philippines, where she eventually won Miss Universe in 2015, there was a question about social media, and she says, think before you click. And I think
Mm.
people click before they think. And that's either somebody who is a content creator where you didn't think about the repercussions of maybe an opinion you mentioned that will forever be on social media. Or on the flip side, the viewer, listener, subscriber that decided to judge somebody and just make a negative comment or make assumptions about somebody.
Yeah.
The fact that they'll say, oh, they're hiding something. That's why they're not going to be on YouTube. I was like, no, things are crazy these days. I don't know if
That's
you've
true.
heard about stalkers and
I
and
have.
AI, using your
Yeah.
voice to. I mean, not to sound all paranoid, but there are
That's
reasons for
true.
that. But the fact that I always exercise that mindset of thinking before you click.
Mm-hmm. I
Thinking
like
before
that.
you click. So it's just an interesting topic. I know a lot of our our content is about plants, but when you think about like social media, we just mentioned how things are shorter. I'm in the
Mm-hmm.
mindset that I love longer content. If you watch my YouTube videos, at least an hour long.
Yeah.
But now people can't watch a short video unless it's like a 5-second video and it's something funny. I don't know. Like
It's like Vine on steroids.
It
Remember
it
Vine
is.
back in
is.
the
Oh my
I love
gosh,
day?
Brandon
fine.
Romano.
Yeah.
He was a mess. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to go on like a rabbit hole or a tangent, but like social media and the way content has evolved from something very organic and raw. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk about some of the influencers I like and the
Yeah.
reasons for it. But like, do you feel like sometimes with content creators, whether it's plant influencers or not, do you feel like a lot of it could also be staged? Because to me, social media makes me feel like I can't show my plants because I don't have the beautiful grow lights. I don't have perfect leaves. I don't have that variegated monstera, or
Listen,
whatever.
I got
I
you.
can speak for
So let's do
myself.
it.
For myself, I show the good, bad, the
I
ugly.
love it.
The yellow leaves. I know some
Somalians.
videos where there was just like a dead pile of leaves. Like
Yeah.
that's just life. I just show it all because I don't want to personally create this perfect. Oh, this Janae has it all. I do not have it all together, y'all. Like I am just struggling day by day trying to take care of all these
Oh,
plants.
we all trying to
Like
figure it
it's
out.
like yeah, like I never want to like misrepresent reality. Like plants, they're going to die. Plants, they're going to yellow. Plants, they're going to wither. Richie came and was in my aglaonema section. Was like, close your eyes, but it's okay. Like it's there. Like I'm not going to hide it, or I'm like it's a part of it. So I'm not going to misrepresent it. So
I mean, listen. I don't have Soltech lights.
I need Soltec lights, y'all. Though I really
Okay,
do.
so
Sponsor
like,
us, please, Soltech.
I mean,
Soltec,
Janae has
please.
this beautiful Soltech light, and I have this little old cheap Amazon.
Stop.
It looks
No,
like
don't call it out. Don't call it out. Don't call it the name.
I don't know the
Okay.
brand, but it looks like like tentacles, you
Yeah.
know,
Oh,
like
for real?
the girl lights on
Tentacles.
fingers or something, right? And to me, it's not aesthetically pleasing or whatever. And it's like, oh, but do I do a tour and show this and stuff? But that's my setup now, right? And that's what it is. And you know, with plant influencing, it is the pressure of trying to maintain a certain look and a certain aesthetic. And oh, if you don't have the best grow lights, do you put this on camera? You know, or oh, if you don't have, you know, the I mean, the design, right?
Mhm.
Like, how do you show this? I mean, half of my plants are on the floor.
It
Like,
Mine is
is
shoved in
what
a
it
table.
is.
Like
See?
you know,
it's in a table.
and so you know, I think what happens is that in any genre on social media, there is a pressure to be pristine and to be
Mhm.
polished and all this other stuff. And if y'all know me, I am far from polished. Like
But that's what we love
Eh,
about you,
yeah.
Steve.
The
And I think
realness.
the realness and all of that.
You know,
Just staying authentic to yourself. That's what matters.
The
That's the
most
thing.
authentic to yourself, whether it is on social media, but even more so in just your everyday life.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of, you got to think about it, right? Not everybody is going to like a certain content.
Yeah.
That is okay. But
Yeah.
my messaging for anybody out there that is on, social media, definitely think before you click. Definitely don't make judgments or assumptions based on what you're just seeing, that minuscule
Mhm.
information you might see on social media, because that can go into just everyday life. You can't judge a book by its cover.
hmm
You have to go dig in a little bit deeper, and you have to treat people with respect. Like I've always mentioned, and I think that's the reason why a lot of plant influencers get into like plant burnout or
Yeah.
just disappear from YouTube.
Well, I was going to ask
Yeah.
both of y'all about that, right? Because at some point, it becomes a lot.
Yes.
Right? Listen, in order for me to film a video, I got to set it up. I got to set up the ring light. I got to put my table up. I got to decide which plants I'm going to talk
Yeah.
about. I got to figure out the topic that I'm going to talk about. I got to, mix soil and, try to get the supplies and tools to do that, right? So it's a lot of money. It's a lot
Yes.
of thought and all of that stuff
Time
just
and
to
effort.
do
Yeah.
a 20-minute video.
Mm-hmm.
You got to edit, like I don't, source my editors out.
We're not at that level,
I'm
right?
not at that level yet.
Maybe.
Not
You can
yet.
make it. Drop a super sticker. Please support.
Right. But so my question to y'all is this, right? Where does the grace come in for y'all? Where it's like, I got to take a step back. I got to say, you know what? I'm not going to premiere a video this week because I'm got so much other stuff going
Yeah.
on, and I need to
Take a break.
and look after myself. So
I'm more better with it now. Before I was like, no, I have to get these videos out. I try to do Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. But now it even happened early this week. I was like, oh, I need to get this out. Or what happened was just like, I don't feel like it. I had a long day and I was just like, Janae, just don't do it.
Yeah.
Just like now, I just know if I really don't feel like doing it, I'm not going to force myself. Because then I don't want to show up in front of camera, try to put on this happy face when really I just want to be in bed, or I just want to watch TV and not even film or edit or do anything like
Or just
with
tend to your
that.
plants.
Exactly.
Tend to your plants.
No.
Right?
And that's funny you said that because a couple videos ago, I was doing a repot, my rotted tie, still sad story. But I was like, I didn't film it because I was like, I'm more like, I don't have to film every single thing I do. It's
Bingo.
okay to not do it. So I can just be in the moment, not have to worry about, the camera angle. Oh, do I have enough lighting? Like, just be in the moment with my plants, and then I'll just tell y'all what I did. So,
the last time I checked, we are not real housewives or real house husbands when there's cameras
I
following
mean,
us.
where I
exactly.
mean, it could be a reality TV show, but no, I mean, and if you haven't seen Janae Simone's YouTube channel, flawless editing. It's just the cinematography right there is amazing, and whatever she does on her videos, the editing portion would take me days.
I need to take a 101 class.
Exactly.
Editing 101.
I got you.
Yeah, but I
you.
mean, like, even for me, right? Y'all have watched my videos. They're at least 1 hour plant shopping videos. So to me, and I guess I feel a certain way. Maybe I'm utilizing today's episode as kind of me kind of ranting about some of the negative backlash I've gotten. But, I want people to know that number one, there is a lot of effort that's placed into content, whether it's a 5 second reel on Instagram or
Sure.
TikTok,
Yeah.
right? There was a thought process. Like for me, I'm going to tell you, I have to drive to a big box store, a local nursery. So that alone takes up time to just get to the place.
Yeah.
Number two, I am filming back and forth for a straight hour
Yeah.
plants. Then I go home and voice over again another hour, edit
Yeah.
another hour, and then wait another hour for the video
To
to
upload.
save and
Yeah.
Oh, to
upload.
save. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
for me, because I love the plant foldies, I go on my live premieres because I want to make that content where people can chat on the live premiere chats and have that kind of community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And a connection to you.
Yeah.
and it's a connection to whatever you want to connect with, and that's why, like, for me, to segue on some of the plant influencers, I really love Benji's plants, and I know that if anybody who's been watching
Good
the LA fires, it really was unfortunate to see Benji's plants.
Yeah.
All of his home was just destroyed in the fires, but in hindsight, I have been watching him since 2020. During the plant pandemic, whatever you want to call it, where everybody was on YouTube. But he has stayed consistent.
Yeah.
I watched it
Still?
he has stayed consistent. So like he will, I remember watching his plant styling. That's what really got me. That's the kind of content I like, is not just growing a plant, but having very intentional ways of styling your plants. And what's inspiring about Benji is he's very much real with how he styles his plants. He talks to the viewer, and yes, the editing is flawless. So I'm sure that there was a lot of panning and thought behind it, but there was a curated look about his work where you can tell, hey, that is a Benji plant video.
Yeah.
He has branched out not only from just doing plants to more of a lifestyle blog. Like eventually I would like to branch into that, but his work was just phenomenal. And I think it's the care he put into it, the inspiration he gives me, and even Cultivation Corner on the fact that he got HDTV sponsoring him. And this is
it's awesome.
a young man with his partner just showing beautiful plants. Like, I really do think that Janae needs to get more credit for some of her plant styling. But, he's one of my favorites. And then there's another one, David Morales, the Plant Fever.
Yes.
So let's talk about David, okay? So he gets a lot of backlash too, but I can resonate with his content because he was honestly between him and Ashley Anita. They were the pioneers of going to big box stores. And I do big box store stuff. I guess I'm going to talk about it. Like, a lot of my YouTube channels started because, number one, I really suffer from OCD. It's not anything that I am ashamed of. I think mental health is a thing. And, when I talk to my therapist, OCD is about utilizing it as a superpower. You don't have to focus on something negative. You can focus on something that's more positive. And for me, getting into the routine of going to a big box store, editing YouTube videos, and then providing it to people who want to engage with me was a thing. But like David Morales, he goes into plant big box stores, and he does his thing. He does his thing, and he's so authentic. Like, literally, if you've ever watched him do his plant chores, his personality, and I have had the privilege and honor to like actually do a FaceTime call with him, and what he presents on YouTube is what you will get on a FaceTime call. And I'm excited he's going to be on plant, on the plant podcast as well.
Yes.
So that's at season 3. So we're doing that, and I think that's really important for us to talk about why people watch a certain content creator.
Exactly.
Yeah, I want to shout out Aroid District.
Yes.
He's another one who is, he reminds me so much of myself. You know what I'm saying? We both wear, baseball caps and everything like that. And he's just really real with his plant journey and everything. And I think that that's another thing. It's just like, the realness. Come on. Most humans can spot when someone's being fake, right? And authentic. And so why not not do that? Like,
I
why
know,
not?
Yeah.
right? And like
Why
I'll
not
put
just
myself out there too.
right?
There's
Just
some
be
huge,
real.
well, there's some huge influencers,
Yeah,
and you might try to engage with them, and they'll leave you on read.
yeah,
I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm like, whoa, like like I think that if you are an influencer, I'm sure you have that notification or
yeah,
time, but
Hmm.
like, and that's why I feel like the ones that are super engaging and real, that's where you really get the growth.
yeah.
And that's why too I try to make it a point, but I actually enjoy it
Hmm.
responding or even at least hearting all the comments. But for
Yes.
the majority, I respond to all of them because, like you said, it's like creating and building that community, and it's like a
Hmm.
connection to you. And not only that, like I even asked in the comments, like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" or
Hmm.
blah blah blah. Like just creating and like having that feedback with others.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, it just makes it, I guess, more personal.
I
So.
remember speaking of engaging with your people, right? I had a premiere. Okay,
Uh-oh.
I
Story
forgot.
time.
Look, I forgot I had the premiere. Okay,
Oh, so you
so
didn't even
I've
hop
done
on.
that.
I forgot. I was asleep. I had a long day, and I said, you know
I
what? Let
was
me just take this
asleep.
nap. You know what I'm saying? And I woke up. And, my videos are not that long. They're not like hour-long videos. They're like 20 minutes long. I slept right through that thing, and I woke up and I was like, oh shoot. I had a premiere that I was expecting to be on. Like I posted it on Instagram, like chat with me at 6:30 Central Time. I got a
And then you
premiere.
ghosted
I
In the
ghosted
bed
everybody.
everybody.
asleep.
I was asleep.
These
My bad.
influencers. I mean, they
Okay,
sleep too.
this happens.
Contrary to somebody
Yeah.
posting on stories, just because they didn't post on their story on Instagram doesn't mean they're dead or something happened to them. Maybe they just
Took a
wanted a
nap.
social
They took a nap.
media
Took a nap.
They took a
break.
nap.
I know that we've been talking a lot about just social media and planned influencing stuff, but I do have to ask y'all, what do you look for? And we'll go very specific
Yeah.
in a planned influencer. Like, what is the qualities you would look for in a planned influencer?
Uh, uh, realness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number
Really
one.
realness. I guess, like I said before, like with Harley, it was like I was watching a friend. So
Yeah.
someone I can like, they're just real and I can relate to, if that makes sense. Because then I feel like, I don't know, that I'm more just prone to just actually follow their own care tips and
And her life too,
like,
sometimes she gets and I'll read through the comments. I can be a
mm-hmm,
troll like that too. I'm just curious, like everybody else, right? You
I'm
may
here
not
for the
say anything. I'm here
comments.
for the
okay,
comments too, right? But like even with Harley, there have been situations where people go after her because some of her kids were on in her video,
mm,
but that is her. If she's choosing to share that
yeah,
part of her life, I think it's a beautiful thing. It's not something we may necessarily ask, but some people have their opinions
yeah,
about it. But I do think the realness
mm-hmm,
for me, if
that's
I'm
what
going to ask for like
matters.
a planned influencer, we've got to find for me to have somebody like influence me or to really be engaged with plant content. It has something to do with not only the authenticity of the person, obviously the personality, but the uniqueness.
Yeah,
And I say uniqueness in a sense that like I know if I went to Benji Plants, I will be graced with beauty
mm-hmm,
and style. Not everybody is doing that. It is easy to do, okay, well, I'm going to do a houseplant tour. Okay. Thank you for sharing the houseplant tour, but there's a little bit more of a the thing that stands
mm-hmm,
out. And that's just, for content on YouTube. And I know you were talking about like even Fidel and maybe
Yeah.
for me, but I would even say with like Fidel, the plant poppy, love you, Fidel. His messaging, it's not always about the plants, but what plants have done for
yeah,
him.
Oh
But
yeah.
obviously for me,
mm-hmm,
it's the uniqueness. There's a lot of plant creators out there. I mean, there's a lot of people who have plant podcasts apparently too, and I think that's amazing.
yep,
But
love
hopefully
it.
we, Cultivation Corner can give you a little bit of a different spin. But
Mm-hmm,
yeah,
Yeah.
Steve, how
I
about you?
agree.
No, I mean I'm gonna go, across the board. It's authenticity, it's realness, someone who I can relate to. I mean, look, I'm still, I'm 4 years into the game, right? I'm still
Mm-hmm,
technically a newbie. I mean, I have received comments from people who have been growing pothos, the same pothos,
I love it.
for
mm-hmm.
25 years.
What?
That's
Okay,
awesome.
like 25 years. The plant has been in your house for 25 years, and you ain't kill it.
Okay.
So,
Can I get a cutting?
right, you know what I'm saying?
20-year-old pothos cutting?
Talking about resiliency.
Yes.
But I think, I don't ever, um, I don't, well, I try not to, I don't know it all. Okay. And I think what I appreciate in the plant influencers that I do watch is that they'll tell you straight off the bat, I'm trying this out, right?
Yeah.
I've read about this.
Mhm.
I researched that, and I'm going to try this out for the first time. I'll give you an update in 3 or 4 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that kind of thing. Like I love that because it's like, yeah, take me on this journey with
Yep.
you. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll be back in 3 months to see how
Mm-hmm.
it's doing. And it's that realness. It's that we don't know everything.
Yep.
Yeah. And I know
At
we have
all.
like a segment about a wants and needs, but I think I
Yeah.
want to flip the switch a little bit today
Uh-oh.
on
Okay.
that, on the
What's
wants and
this?
needs. So
Because we're not
Rather
scripted,
than
y'all.
prompt
Well, no,
stuff.
today we don't have no scripting. This is literally just us talking thoughts, which I
Seriously.
love because it's
This
a
is this is
different.
this is
Yeah.
real.
It's a super real. We don't
Okay.
have no cue
This is
thing.
happening
We don't
in
have
real
our sheets
time.
today, right? So we might go overtime today. But so obviously we have this segment called want and need plans. So a want is something that you can wait on. A need is something that you need today.
Today.
Okay. So we're going to talk about social media, either your YouTube channel or just social media in general.
Yeah.
What is a want for you when it comes to content creation or just social media in general, Steven?
Okay, that's a
Oh.
really, really good question.
And then what's a need? You tell me what's a need too.
Okay, so a need is plant styling. Like I need my
Mm.
plant room to be styled. Okay.
Okay.
Like, and trust me, you should.
Janae right here.
I know.
She
Like
used-
literally, I'm like looking
guru.
around, and I told her
Please.
this earlier. I said, Janae, I am taking cues right now and notes, mental notes about what's going on up in here. But like I need that because it's just my plant room is a little chaotic, but my Amazon cart, my at-home cart,
It's ready.
is-
They're full,
they're
ready
full.
to go.
They're full, and I
Click to
need to
purchase.
hit the numbers in order to get everything that I need in that cart, in those carts. A want is I want more subscribers.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to influence more people. I want more knowledge. Like that's something that doesn't come immediately. It comes in time, and I want it, and I'm working towards that. So I think that's mine.
How about
Ugh.
you, Janae?
Such a good question. I don't like being
I'm
put on
really-
the spot.
I know. I like those flipping the switches or
Oh
whatever.
man. Oh,
Cultivation Corner.
I think a need for me would I guess more so now aglanemas. I know we talk about this a lot, and I have been like down the rabbit hole. So many different YouTube accounts in aglanemas, their care, but not only that, there are so many out there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And learning about the hybrids and where they come from and just all those things like that. For me right now, that's a need. That's
Okay.
what my YouTube feed is. In regards to want, like personally or just in general?
I would say in general, whether it's like a want from people, want from social media.
Oh, I don't.
We're going a little deeper today.
I know. Thought provoking.
Mhm.
I would say one, I guess, for me in general with social media is to, I don't know, I guess just to continue to take these, my Simonians just along, this plant journey. Like I said multiple times, like I don't know it all, and just like continue this journey about my fails, my plant deaths.
Successes too. Come on.
True. That too. And I don't know, just like continue doing that with me. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Okay. That's
What about
That's
you,
it.
Richie? You up here
Yeah.
asking all the questions.
know, right?
I
All the
mean,
hard
today's,
questions.
the thing about it is when we first started, a plant podcast, we just kind of discussed about how we can talk about plants. And I'm hoping that, it resonates with people that it's beyond the plants.
Mhm.
And, having a topic like this, it's really segueing and catering to like social media and just etiquette in general. I would just say for me, my want is obviously, and just like any content creator, whether you are influencing to make money, influencing for whatever reasons you want, right? For me, it's to take to continue to take the plant foldies, the cultivators, my friends on this journey and to grow that engagement, whether it culminates to 100,000 subscribers or an extra 50 that will actually engage, leave comments, and share that knowledge, share that personality. I think that's the want. That's going to be a long-term goal.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I'll celebrate that with the little wins that we get. And then as far as a need, I've had a lot of thought about it just because we've all put ourselves in social media. We watch social media. We've seen how the plant community is a very small world. My need is for people to think before you click. And when I say think before you click, really digest the content, appreciate for whatever content it is, but try not to go overthink it. Try not to make assumptions. Try not to be judgmental. Show more kindness. Kindness is a free thing that I feel like even the world today, just the way things have kind of moved in the last couple of weeks with, politics changing and things like that, there's a lot more opinions. But I really think, yes, it is, free speech. It is social media, but think before you click.
For sure.
And that's my need today.
I love that.
I love
that. That's amazing.
Oh, this has been such a great episode.
It really has. This was good.
And cultivators that are watching, feel free to post your plant influencers that really inspire you in the comment section.
Especially if they know someone that we don't know.
Yes, we suggest that because we really want to broaden our scape. Sometimes the algorithm isn't always as kind to people who may not have 1,000, a million subscribers, but sometimes the ones that even have just a few might have the most authentic, most real content, and that's another topic we can talk about, just how the algorithm works. But as far as this episode today, my name is Richie at Growfolds,
Janae from Janae Simone,
and Steve from I Live Plants,
and we are Cultivation Corner. Bye.
Bye.
And on the next episode of Cultivation Corner,
it's really inspiring when the people that I've met at like plant shows and stuff, and they reach out to me and they're like, I'm so many days sober, and like, I appreciate you for sharing your story. And that to me is great. Or even to someone that's like, hey, you saved my plant from dying.